Today I'll be making a pair of beaded earrings. You'll need a wire cutter, 2 pairs of needle nose pliers, and round nose pliers. You also need any beads you like, an assortment of eye pins and head pins, earring hooks, and creativity. Alright, I've already chosen the beads I'm going to use. When you're choosing your beads, try to choose beads that are made out of the same materials. So right now I'm going to be using mainly wood beads with some fake Swarovski crystals as well. I like to work with glass beads a lot, and when I work with glass beads, I don't mix them with plastic beads or other things, other beads made of different materials. When I work with shell beads, sometimes I'll use other materials with them, but it does look good to just use shells. So first, I've already thought of my design. So sometimes I think of a design when I'm choosing the beads, or sometimes I have a design in mind, and so then I choose the beads. So whichever comes first. So the design I'm going to do, I'm going to have the little Swarovski bead on top, followed by a purple wooden bead, and at the bottom of that is this flat flower looking wooden bead. And that'll be on an eye pin, and then on a head pin underneath that will be this spotted wooden bead, and on a separate eye pin, head pin, I will have another little crystal and a second round spotted wooden bead. Alright, so I'm going to start with the eye pin first and put on that flat bead that kind of looks like a flower, and then the purple bead and the crystal bead, fake crystal bead. So in front of me I have a bead tray so that things just don't roll off crazy. So once you have your beads on a pin, take your straight nose needle nose pliers right above that bead about 1 millimeter or 2, and then bend it a 90-degree angle. Now the next part comes with experience and practice. You'll take your wire cutters and cut approximately 1/4 or 2/3 of an inch down that length of the wire. And I always keep these longer lengths of wires because you can use them in other projects to make double-sided eye pins. So I keep it in the tray in front of me. And now your piece should look like this. And so then take your round nose pliers and put them about 1 or 2 millimeters from the end of the wire, just so there's a tiny little bit past your pliers, and then wrap the wire around the pliers to make a loop, and use your other needle nose pliers to help bend it, because sometimes it goes off to the side and sometimes it kind of doesn't look like a loop. This is the hard part, it's just making a loop that looks nice. Alright, this loop doesn't look super great, but it is functional. So now I have a loop on top, a loop on bottom, beads in the middle, and I will have to make a second of those for the other earring, but right now I'll just do this earring complete. So now I'll take a head pin and I'll put on one big round bead and do the same thing. Bend the wire at a 90-degree angle, about 1 millimeter or 2 above the bead. And then drop it. Nope. And then I'll cut it off. Save the cut piece. And now I'll use my round nose pliers to make a loop out of this little tail part of the wire. So now I have what is ready to be put onto any other loop or an earring itself. Actually, I'll just go ahead and do that. So to open a loop that is made out of wire, never twist it outwards, away from this side. Never twist it away from this side. Always twist it towards you or away from you so that it opens that way instead of ruining your loop. So I'll put that on the bottom of my little part that I had just made. And now I'm going to make a second one of those, but with an additional bead. I like to make jewelry that one side is longer than the other side or slightly different in some way. But I also like some symmetry in jewelry also. Kind of a paradox. I think it's because you don't want it to be predictable. You don't want your design to be predictable because that makes it boring. But you want it predictable enough that it's still safe and it's not just some lumpy, misshapen, odd thing. So I'm bending my wire at a 90-degree angle, cutting it. Using my round nose pliers to make a loop. Straightening it out because it likes to tilt to the side sometimes. The loop here is really the hardest part. Right. Now bend it slightly out and put it on the other component and bend it back so that it cannot fall off. All right, so now what I have is this goofy little piece. And now it's just ready for an earring hook. So like the other pieces, find which side is the one that you will bend towards or away from yourself. It's usually the one that would be facing backwards if you were to wear it. Make sure nothing will fall off. And there, one earring. It's kind of a funny design, but I think the speckles on the two bottom beads look nice because there are no patterns on the top beads. And the materials are all wood except for the two fake crystals. which just kind of add a little bit of shininess to contrast with the wood. Even though the wood is not dull, it's not sparkly either, and that's why the crystals help a lot. All right, and that's how to make an easy pair of beaded earrings.